Arsenal, in inverted commas, can't compete in transfer market against top four rivals. This is from Tuesday, 4th of September 2012. The Arsenal chairman, Peter Hill-Wood, has admitted the club, in inverted commas, can't compete in the transfer market with their Premier League top four rivals, but he is confident the Gunners would mount a serious title challenge this season, and insisted the board were not worried about Arsene Wenger's failure to win a trophy for 7 years. How many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. But anyway.
Yeah, all right.
but anyway, leaving that aside, the Arsenal chairman has also said he was disgusted by those fans who abused manager Wenger last season as the club once again came up short. I could make a joke about that, but I won't. It's too tempting though. What managers abusing Wenger? I don't know, man. Get that stick out. Wait. I did say stick. Hillwood told the Evening Standard, Arsene has money to spend, but there's a limit. We can't spend £50 million on one player. At a certain level, we can't compete. I don't think majority shareholder Stan Kroenke is going to put the sort of dollars in that Roman, Abramovich or Sheikh Mansour are putting into Chelsea or Manchester City. That's not the way he thinks clubs should be run. Luckily, Arsene understands that. He's got an economics degree from Strasbourg University, so he's certainly no fool. He knows how a club should be run. That annoys a lot of people, but clubs have to be sustainable. We're not going to go bankrupt in the way one or two other well-known clubs have. I will mention Leeds United in this, because Leeds United were very, very close to going out of his existence, as Lily Alumi and Mr. Russ Vernon will know only too well, because their spending wasn't sustainable. And you know what? With what Peter Hill-Wood has said, I agree with him. Clubs do need to be sustainable. Live within your means, which is why I am hoping financial fair play is not only enforced, but enforced uniformly as well. I really hope so. But Platini, you've heard my views on him. FIFA, UEFA, the FA, the moronic trinity. Pitchtalk.blogspot.com is my blog entry from a while back. But also, the Glasgow Rangers example is something we've all got to guard against. They spent far more money than they could afford. We're ambitious enough, but we're not going to end in the same plight as Rangers. That is a fact of life. So my advice is, don't get miserable about it. So whenever, you know what, yeah, Hill-Wood brings up a few, as I said, he brings up a few good points. Clubs need to be sustainable.
Definitely. And
indirectly, with talking about Rangers and Nuko and that, saying that clubs need to live within their means. Yeah. Very much agree with him on that. Also, at the end of the day, spending 50 million quid on one player, you lot have got to recoup that in some way.
Definitely.
I mean, Chelsea, making what, something like 60 million off of Champions League and FA Cup winners' purses, but losing 72 million a year and spending what? How much did they spend combined on Luis and Torres? I think it was something like 75 million between two players.
Something like that.
Mate, that's not sustainable. I'm sorry, but it's not sustainable. Same with Manchester City, losing 170 plus million a year for 2 straight years. It's not sustainable. If those owners walked away tomorrow, there wouldn't be a Manchester City. Same with Man United. 494 million pound worth of debt. Israel Emmers and the Glazers are looking to sell them, line their pockets, and only use half of what they make off of United stock flotation to put back into the club and service the debts. Mate, you've got owners who don't give a damn about certain clubs. They just want win now. And they don't really care. They're not putting money back into the club to help them become self-sufficient.
You know what? I wouldn't just say it's just the owners, though, because...
But owners are a huge part of it. They're the ones with the stroke.
Well, the owners,
obligatory wrestling reference right there.
That's true. The owners do have the stroke, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's not totally the owner's fault. And I'll let this person get on the call.
Caller, you are through to Pitch Talk. Apologies, Gman, for interrupting you. Caller, you are through to Pitch Talk.
It's all about the money.
If you got the money, honey, I got the time. Who is calling?
This is Simon James, of course.
Hey, how's it going, Simon? Of
Going on, Simon.
Supersonic Radio, right?
Yeah, sure is.
There you go. Thought so. Simon, before I ask your view, Gman, do you wanna finish your point, and then we'll ask Simon James his view as well.
Yeah, because I was just going to carry on with it's not just the owners, fans have to bear the brunt as well, because at the end of the day they put the owners, they put the players under extreme pressures, to win things.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, when you make set the bar of expectations so high, and I understand there's reasonings behind that as well, because we are in a time and an age where everybody wants to win. Not just that, prices are high. Not just that,
very inflated.
Players move around a lot. The game's kind of twisted in that sort of logic. But
very much.
It is down to the owners to hold their ground and say, look, we're going to be realistic here. Look, we can't win the league every year.
Yeah.
We're going to be realistic. We're going to set reasonable targets, and at the end of the day, fans, if you don't like it, then you got to walk.
Yeah. If you don't like it, put bin bags on the chairs and walk.
Precisely.
But it's a good point there. I mean, clubs right now are run like businesses, extremely badly run businesses, but businesses nonetheless.
But they're trying to fix up.
Well, some are.
Wait.
Some
We can't even say some are, because when we look at the Manchester Cities and we look at the Chelseas, they have billions. the billionaires.
No.
Wait,
they don't have
listen,
billions.
listen.
Their owners.
No,
do.
wait. Their owners don't
That's
care.
the
Their
difference.
owners who own the club, because it's the owners that are running the club,
Yeah.
They have billions. So effectively, to them, the club has billions.
Not really, because with financial fair play, that kind of changes. And the reason being is because owners are only allowed to pump in, I think it's 12 million a year.
No one, precisely, but if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't care what they've got written on paper in FIFA, because, we know there are ways around it.
No, true, legal loopholes.
I have billions, and at the end of the day, if I know I can invest in certain places to get over these loopholes, I will do.
Yeah, no, true. But at the end of the day, financial fair play, actually, pretty much, it's the 2013-2014 season where it will start being properly enforced. But they've got this year, 2012-2013, and they had last year, 2011-2012, to start getting their finances in order.
Yeah.
So they had a 2-year grace period.
Yeah, but I just get this last point in. It's the clubs who do not have that sort of the money, the wealth of these other clubs. They're the ones that should be more protecting themselves against the financial situation. They're the ones that shouldn't be chasing. You get me? If Manchester City can afford to go out there and splash the cash, allow Manchester City to go out there and afford to splash the cash. Because if you're chasing and you ain't got the money, you're always going to be out of pocket yourself. And
that's the thing with City. They are out of pocket because it's not their money.
Yeah, but it's the owners.
It's the owner's money. But you separate you have to separate the owner from the club.
No.
The club does not have that money.
But you can't do that at this current time because the owners are
You
still.
have to.
You can't at the current time because the owners are still there. The owners are making decisions. I'm talking about, the for instance, the Everton owner.
Oh, Bill Kenwright. Yeah.
Bill Kenwright. If he had a little change, as he does at the moment, if he went out there and splashed it all, trying to chase Man United and Liverpool's, next season he's going to be
sustainable.
He's going to be in debt. He's going to try and do it next season. He's going to be in debt. Manchester City is still throwing out that cash because they're getting oil money or wherever their finances are getting run from. So at the end of the day, they ain't worried about the current period. It's the little clubs that have to worry about where they are now.
Well, it's one of them as like I've said, if UEFA and FIFA, if UEFA and FIFA are serious about financial fair play, especially UEFA, then they need to be enforcing it properly. And it's a case of, my fear is that it won't be enforced, and that all of this teams trying to get in line financially is gonna fall by the wayside, and then we're gonna see a lot more teams end up like Portsmouth, like Newco. Ending up, and even further, going out of business at the end of the day. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it's one of them. Aymane Salim did say, didn't we make a point on an older Pitch Talk show saying that clubs can't actually be stopped? Yeah, they can't be stopped in terms of transfers. In terms of saying, right, you can't make transfers, because apparently that would be contravening European human rights laws or something along those lines. And yeah, we did bring that up. We did bring that up about a year ago, and also. And also there was the thing that Platini came out and said, which I think I actually had a rant of the week on youtube.com/Pitch Talk about, which should be still up on the ROTWs. Basically, I had a rant of the week saying, when Platini came out and said, oh, we're not looking to throw teams out of our tournaments, and it's like, yeah, well done, mate. Your biggest bargaining chip, you've just thrown that away. But Simon has said, money talks, just support Leeds United, the best team. But you know what? Leeds were in a similar sort of situation. They were spending beyond their means, and it almost cost them. It almost cost them. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things happening. I mean, Aymane, you said something very, very interesting in the Skype chat about with all the corruption in football. That's a pretty good point. Tell the people what that point was.
I just said, with all the corruption in football, I can put my money on, some clubs just, tweaking their stats or rather tweaking their financial statements to say, yeah, look, we didn't lose this much, we only lost this much, or we didn't lose as much as you lot think we lost. And it will happen because clubs, money is power. Mm-hmm. And with the way corruption is in football, it will happen sooner or later. When financial fair play does come into practice, it will happen.